Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you, Renato. Good afternoon, everyone. The organization asked me to present for all of you some different perspectives of the roles of the clinical engineers in different scenarios. So, let me pass here. It's too open? Oh. Okay, so this is my background in my declaration, and I worked nowadays to Boston Scientific Corporation, and I received funds to be here by Boston Scientific. And in the company, I'm responsible nowadays for the health policy management, and also I work with a board member elected in the HTA division of the IFMBE, and like a collaborator member of the clinical engineer division. Also, I'm a clinical engineer invited professor in Unicamp, in the University of Campinas, in the clinical engineer course. Previously, I worked to PAHO, WHO, as the Brazilian office, the WHO, and like a national consultant of health technology assessment and management. In METRO, our National Metrology Institute in Brazil, and CONITEC, the National Committee for Health Technology Adoption into SUS. SUS is our health public system in Brazil. And the Ministry of Health, like manager of medical equipment division. So I will try to explore some experience of that I had during my career, and trying to show different perspectives and roles of the clinical engineer. Sorry. So first of all, I will start for the currently to the last one. So in Boston Scientific, mainly I have mainly three main responses. The first one, the promotion market access. Since the regulatory affairs support to the public tenders, basically of the registration of our products in the regulatory agency in Brazil, Anvisa, and identify opportunities for sales in the public sector by tenders, basically working with technical specification and logistic aspects. The second one, health economics. Basically here is HTA activities, preparing reports with scientific evidences based in HTA practices, and also health economics analysis, basically cost effectiveness and budget impact analysis. The third is the government and institutional affairs, with meetings with government authorities in preparation for the future proposal submissions for the new adoptions of our technology, of course, and alignments of expectations about the prices and the reimbursements values, trying to balance the perspectives from the government and the industry. We have some partnerships and support in capacity building and workshops and incentive for innovations for the public health. Just to illustrate some of these, those initiatives, we launched some months ago the Innovation Award in Biomedical Engineering for the public health system, in partnership with Brazilian Biomedical Brazilian Engineer Society, and workshops in the HTA on medical device in partnership with the Brazilian network in HTA and HTA centers over the country, in Brazil. In the international organization, my roles was, I work at that, they are like a national consultant in the HTA in management, and the main activities were the adoption of the new technology into SUS, like the activity mainly in support to CONITEC. CONITEC is the National Committee for the adoption for the new technologies in the public health system, and working in preparation of reports and scientific evidences based on HTA practices, and analysis and the health economics analysis, basically in cost effectiveness and budget impact analysis. Also, capacity building in HEA and HEM, including, of course, clinical engineering. We organize a lot of workshops and courses in HEA and HEM in partnership with Ministry of Health and WHO collaboration centers, like, for example, the University of Vermont in the United States and the Federal University of Santa Catarina, there, where my colleague Renato Garcia is responsible for the clinical engineering area. Also, we worked in the development of guidelines and publications in HEA. And the third one, we worked in national and international networking groups with meetings and webinars in partnership with the Brazilian, HEA Brazilian network, and also REDETSA, that is the Americans, HEA Americans network. Some examples, we organized the last meeting in São Paulo, like pre-congress of the Clinical Engineer Congress in São Paulo 2017. The guideline for the evaluation of medical equipment, and also the HEA recommendation report. In this case, the example is about the Da Vinci surgery robotics. In the government, we had some experience in some cases of success cases in some projects very important to the public health system. I worked there like manager of medical equipment division projects, basically investment projects. The Ministry of Health sends every year meaningful financial resource to the states, cities, and hospitals for medical equipment purchase. Basically, it's a process of decentralization of resources. The Ministry of Health sends money to the city, to the state, and the hospital, and they promote the purchase in local way. To receive the resources, the institutions have to present investment projects with nomenclature, quantity, and technical specification of the medical equipment required. And basically, our role there were analyze this project, the compatibility between the specification, technical specification, and price, and the value required. The scenario in 2080 is very complicated, was very complicated. We had a lack of standard list of the financeable equipment and lack of standard nomenclatures, no limit of value, the price of the equipment, possibility to request equipment not approved by CONITEC, or in other words, not adopted in the public health system. And in this case, we didn't have the reimbursement policy, and some technology is very unsustainable. In the analysis of the projects line by line, the analyst had to read line by line of the technical specification. It's a very slow process for approval. In 2008, we had around 1,200 projects approved. So to solve this problem, we created two initiatives. The list, the official list, national list of medical equipment for the public health system, and also a management system to that list. This system has 5 main modules. The first one is the structure of health services and ambulances. Number 2, the research tool to recover the historical of investment. Number 3, the interface web for consultation, for the public consultation about the information, technical information, and economic information about the equipment. And fourth, a tool for a multiple choice configuration with limit of price and suggested specification with price pre-approved. In this case, the specification and price is pre-approved. It's a faster process to approve the project. And 5, a bench of prices and technical information linked with a cooperation program that we launched between the Ministry of Health and the industry to collect technical information and economic information. Just to illustrate that models. This is the structure of service and ambience. We insert the equipment according the level of care. For here we have two examples. For example, the high specialized care. So according the service, the department, the ambience, we have specific combos for this kind of service. And the right side, we have the primary care. We can see that it's so more simple equipment applied in primary care. This is to avoid to some kind of service. For example, a basic health unit requests a CT scanner, for example. It doesn't make sense. Here's the screen of the system, inside the system, with the list of the equipment, some links to open information like prices, quotation, brochures, suppliers, and other general information, separate by year. So we have a historical of the quotation and historical of the evolution of the price inside the system. Here some kinds of information about the specification, about the needs of the infrastructure to approve the projects, and price information, and brochure, commercial brochures. Here is the model with the multiple choice configuration and price limit. Basically, what we did is to close the possibility to specification a lot of equipment. And we choose the main features of the equipment, and we link it with the price of the features. So it's an automatic way to analyze the project, to analyze the specification. And with this tool, we promote the possibility the institution choose more, in this example, the Sino-Vital monitor, more than 700 combinations. So it's very flexible to choose the specification, the exact specification that they need. Here the interface is a platform web of the system with information about nomenclature, definition and the application of the equipment. Is very didactic, very easy to use and identify the information. The allowed configuration, the price, the suggested price, the vendors, and that price, the suggested price is linked with this specification that we suggested, like a pre-approval specification and price. So with the main results, we have a meaningful improvement of the quality of the projects present to the Ministry of Health. The investment project approved in 2014 was almost 4 times higher than the previous year, 2013. And to keep the same team, the same number of analysts, the same number of engineers, is around 9 engineers analyzing this project. And in the financial resources, we're invested with more efficiency. We jumped from the $300 million invested in 2013 to almost the double, more than the double. $770 million. And nowadays, this value is around $1 billion, with, I think, it's more than 9, almost 10,000 of projects approved to the public health system. This is my last one slide. This is a picture that I took yesterday during the Global Summit meeting, and where we had some topics emerged as common challenge around the world, and the number 6 topic it was elected like the most important, to increase the clinical engineer role in decision-making processes. So I think what I brought here is simple examples that how can we improve our participation in the decision maker process. So I think it's very possible to do more than maintenance and management. We can advance more in our activities. Thank you very much for your attention.